Regular meeting for Thursday, February 12th to order. Please stand for pledge of allegiance. If you're going to speak to something that is not on the agenda, if anybody here wants to make remarks in public that has anything to do with something that is not on the agenda. Okay, if you're on the agenda, just wait till that item comes up, please. No remarks to the public. We'll move on to new business. All District Chowder Fest. Christian Rigo, Mrs. Rigo, how are you?
All right, guys, so I have a question for all of you. How many of you have been to Chowder in the last 20 years? Not all of you. Okay, so I'll try to give you just a quick idea how it works. And then you can ask your question, but it's not going to change. It's been the same way for this will be the 18th year. It would have been the 20th year, but we didn't do it because of COVID for 2 years. So the village is set up with 45 stores and 6 restaurants, and all of the ticketing and all of the chowder is actually being sold inside of those stores. So there is one restaurant on West Street High School that sets up in the middle green because they're so popular and so big that they bring a little generator and they serve right there by the gazebo. But everything else is interior, and there's nothing that is external from the village. It's crazy. It's a 4-hour event. It's by the end, I would say for like 2 days. It's really, really fast. All of that money goes to charity. So the easier, the quicker we do it, the simpler we make it, the more money we make really fast. So, and it goes to Always Home, which it has for the last few years. If you don't know what Always Home is, that's just a wonderful organization that gets back to homelessness and preventing family homelessness. All the money will go to that, except for what it takes for us to actually make it happen. So we pay for the cups, we pay for anything that I can't get, and then in return, Always Home tries to get me at least about 40 volunteers to make it happen. And we also have cadets that help me run money back and forth to the office, because that money is, coming in really quickly, it goes back out, and then by 4 o'clock it's completely over, 12 to 4. 5 o'clock we do the award ceremony and the whole thing is done. The last year that I ran, we were able to make about $20,000 in 4 hours from just the chowder, and then the chowder is a dollar. So it was a wonderful event. It's going to be a little bit different this year because our costs are going to go up. This inflation helps things, all that stuff. So we're really watching the numbers on this one. And we're hoping you're going to not make me have too much police there. So anything I can do to help that is more possible. We love you guys. But I'll put somebody out in the state property that's just going to be there the whole time to make sure nobody parks. And we'll also have other people around kind of monitoring parking as well with our volunteers. Again, it's a very quick event. It's on a Saturday. It happens quick. It finishes quick. We clean up quick. If you have any questions, I would love to answer.
Well, we certainly appreciate you coming, especially the fact that this is an eternal event that takes place in the village. And really, you don't need a permit for us, but we certainly appreciate you coming because the effect it has on our law enforcement here in Stonington. Just so you know, we have sent a letter to the state of Connecticut Office of Traffic Administration, the chief writes a letter asking them to put parking signs along the ramp.
Oh, that's great.
So we'll see how long it takes that is. So that'll alleviate some of the problems that we've had on the ramp. So, when any of the commissioners have a question at all? So the only one that, Bill?
No, I just said, it's not our purview, but if you make 20 grand, what kind of monies go to this home in the past?
So everything, last time we did it, about 9,000 was always home. It would have been more, but we actually had, so I'll tell you a funny story that's quite embarrassing because it's all me that why it happened, but we've never had an issue ever. And the last time we did the Chowder Festival, we had a major concern with the public that they wanted us to use recyclable cups. And as you imagine, that's probably the biggest expense because every time you're paying for a cup, you're only making $1 on the chowder itself. So we found a way to get a recyclable cup that was made of soy. And I had them come and we did tests with the chowder. It was perfect. It was all delivered, and the day of the event, they actually delivered the wrong cups, and they were melting as they were in the chowder. And so I drove to Taylor's and got all rentals and bought all new cups, and that was an extra expense. Usually it's about 75% of what we make goes back over or more. And this year we're hoping to get, I've already gotten 2 sponsors for about $5,000. I've tried to open another, which I'll see once we start putting stuff up. So that's going to help a lot. It's going to get more revenues then. And then we do have expenses like our labor for our staff that have to do garbage and that kind of thing. But definitely a big chunk will go this year.
Great. Any other commissioners have a question? Chief, what's your concerns regarding traffic and law enforcement for this event?
So what we did is we took all the events, we classified them in A, B's, and C's, depending on what the impact is, what we thought it would be. This really seems like it falls into an A. The only concern I would have would be that parking area on the outside. You say you're gonna have somebody monitoring it. What I would ask that if you see it start to become a problem at all, to immediately call us. We can have a patrol officer come down and mitigate it through so it doesn't become a problem. But we mentioned that everything's in the inside, and with current businesses, you've got plenty of space usually for something of that nature. Even if you got something going on that's in there, that I can't see that becoming an issue at all. So if you could just.
I'll make sure that person has my direct text. So if they notice that they can, I'm there the whole day, they can text me like.
That's the only concern I have over there, but again, having everything inside of the current businesses and whatnot, and I'm not worried about what's on the outside. I don't foresee any issue, and I don't believe that we need to be there. The only thing I would say is that when you're transporting money at all, if you ever wanted a police officer down there for that to keep that involved.
We have cadets, retired cadets or cadets also, but if they can't do it, we definitely will call them.
Yeah, that's the only thing I would say law enforcement wise. Other than that, I think you're fine.
Well, I will see you guys again for Jason.
Okay.
Yeah, you guys have a great 2022.
Thank you. Thank you. Next is the Mr. Cars Parade. Anybody here for that? Oh, there they are. Oh, there's a big guy here. Certainly was an event that we've had many times before us. We've never had a problem there. Any changes or you want to tell us about it or anything? You don't have any surprise groups at the end, do you?
No surprise group.
Okay.
Just what we do every year, same type of thing, same, nothing changes.
Just a little earlier this year.
Yeah, it seems to be all right. Any commissioners have any questions? Any Clydesdale?
Yeah.
Okay. Can I have a motion from the commission to approve this event as submitted to the commission, subject to the meeting of the town's insurance requirements and any issues that the police department determines are needed prior to the date of the event. So, second? All in favor? You're good.
Thank you very much. Enjoy the parade.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Next on the agenda is blessing of the fleet.
Hi, I'm Michelle Crown. I'm here representing the Blessing of the Fleet Committee. and also the 5K committee. So we have the annual race on Thursday, July 27th this year. Leaving the town dock around 6. It finishes up around 8. Registration on set around 4. And the actual blessing itself is on Sunday the 30th this year. And that is a fisherman's mass at 10:30. And the procession leaves the dock at noon. And we've got music and food between 12 and 4. And the blessing of the boats and all that. So this is, I think, our 7th annual. We've missed a couple of years with everybody else, but it's a fairly welcome mission at this point.
We've never had a problem with that, it's kind of been on the commission. Do any of the commissioners have any questions on this event? Can I have a motion to approve? So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
And we cannot do it without the police department, and we just really appreciate all the support we get every year from this group. Thanks so much. Appreciate it.
Next on the agenda is flags.
Good evening. So the Greater Houston Chamber is presenting for the second year of the celebration of Black History Month. Last year we did it in Mystic River Park, and this year we've asked the flag committee at the flagpole to allow us to raise a Black History Month flag. We're waiting to hear whether that's going to happen or not. If it does, we'll gather right there at the anchors, yeah. And there'll be a woman will be performing the flag national anthem. They'll raise the flag and then we'll walk up over the bridge and up to the Union Baptist Church where we have a 2-hour program. If the flag committee doesn't allow us to raise the flag, we'll have a banner and we'll just walk the banner up to Union Baptist Church. So we're gonna get to a couple of hundred. Last year we probably had 150 in the park total. If everything works out properly, there'll be a lot of students. We've reached out to Stonington, Groton, Ledyard, Waterford, and New London school systems to ask for participants. So we really don't know. We may know closer because we're asking people to register to speak. So, but we'll be, it starts at 10 a.m. We anticipate to be over the bridge by 10:15. We think that we'll talk to the Groton police if they stop traffic when the bridge is going up. We'll be able to walk on the right-hand side of traffic right after the church. Not much problem.
What's your plans to keep people in the anchor area and not in the roadways?
I would take recommendations from you. I mean, we're going to have volunteers there and people working the event. So I think that if we do get a couple hundred people, they could flow out into Home Street a little bit right there.
It's Saturday morning, correct?
Yeah.
Chief, do you have any comments on that?
I think it just comes down to how many people are in the road for that 15-minute period of time, because obviously we could hold traffic, but you have to figure out what's going on with the bridge. We would have to do some type of operational plan for it to determine how we do it safely with the pedestrians to make sure we kind of traffic. We've done events like that, so it's not a huge lift for us to do it. It's just how we just have experience with ones that have gone through there, so we know if we need one officer there or two, or how many people get on patrol. So once we have plenty of time to figure all that out and get all that information.
Okay. All right. I'll be in touch with you.
Any of the commissioners have any questions for Mr. Clark? Okay, can I have a motion to approve this event as submitted to the commission, subject to the meeting of the town's insurance department? We still have to submit that, we haven't got that yet. And any issues that the police department can review prior to the date of the event? Second?
Second.
All in favor? Please stay in touch with the chief. And he gives you that people besides the insurance.
Yeah, this is the town property and the state highway. I don't need any signatures on it.
Okay.
So let me know if they get that. Yeah.
You got it.
All right. Thanks, everybody.
Service for Roosters fundraiser. You're back.
I'm back. I know you guys said to come back in February. I may be on trial in February, so I decided to try and come in today. So my daughter is, picture my daughter here, she has cystic fibrosis. So I'm trying to organize a fundraiser for Cystic Fibrosis Foundation be held in at the end of April. I've already talked to Dean's Middle School as using that as a starting location. She goes to kindergarten there. And would run, it's a 4.5 mile, or about a 4 mile loop down the southern part of the map. There's a road right there, Niles Road, that doesn't go on Route 1, so we can cut across without using Route 1 there. Expecting about 100, 200 people. We're going to cap it at 200 people just based on parking in the school. The school is kind of what they would expect for that. Should take about 2 hours on the roads and then probably an hour before to set up and some time afterwards. So brings food trucks in and enjoy a little celebration afterwards. So I'm looking forward to get through that. I think the only thing I changed, sorry, is I'm changing the direction that we're going to be going. So the arrow's going the other way, just so you're going against traffic and not crossing the road too often as you take turns. So.
We still need some paperwork from you as far as the town permit and the insurance. Chief, do you see any issues with this?
No, not at all. I like how you don't touch Route 1. And we would just need to take a little bit of time and work with you to make sure at all the intersections, I would defer to my captain and my deputy chief. We've done a lot of runs before, just so we can make sure we have people in the right positions and make sure it's the same event. We would have to work with you.
Do you have any questions on, you've done a lot of these?
Yeah, no, I think, as long as the participants know that it's an open course, there'll be cars passing them, and, they normally announce that at the beginning, so everybody's safe. But, we'll work with you to make sure.
Okay, and the food truck, you having all those Indian milk?
Yeah, I would probably do that in the drop-off loop they have there, most likely, or in by the basketball course. Kind of my name there. So I'm already talking with Ms. Boucher, the vice principal, make sure everything's set up.
Any of the commissioners have any questions? No. A motion to approve this event is submitted to the commission, subject to the meeting of the town's insurance requirements and any issues with the police department determines the need of prior to the day of the event. So moved.
Second.
All in favor? So please stay in touch with the chief.
So you'll be talking to my secretary now, but you can also call me and ask me if anyone wants to assist to get through.
You gave me your number last time, so.
You're giving it that.
Okay. Thanks, guys.
Thank you. Yeah, you're up. This is the Mystic Seaport Museum Master Plan Zone Change, and this is informational presentation on the vote needed tonight.
Good evening, everyone. I'm John Casey. I'm the attorney with Robinson and Cole. Seaport of Jack Frost, who you know who this is. I've been here before you in the past. Every time something needs to happen at the seaport, the regulated by master plan. So it's an 8 master plan revision. And I should also mention just before Ken Wilson, so you're the director of facilities. Chad will go through all the multiple elements of this, so you can see what they all are. We don't need to overburden you with minutia, but this is what the plan requires. Now the regulations are written, we have to get approval for every little thing, basically. The biggest project is the boat hall, which is in Rossi Mill. This was approved in 2019 to do Rossi Mill as a boat hall or exhibit space. And it's the location in the hall is just being pivoted and a new entrance being added, which Chad can tell you about. That's probably the most noticeable thing you'll see. It's right on the corner of Rossi Pentway. Other than that, I think I'll just turn it over to Chad.
Good evening, everyone. Again, Chad Ross, Ken Frost, Architecture. Happy to be in front of you again for at least the So this year we have 15 projects throughout the campus. Most are really tiny and minute, and don't have very big consequences. So what I would say, as John mentioned, project number one. So this whole building here is Rossi Mill. Project one is a relocation of the boat hall within Rossi Mill. In 2019, we were here before you. You approved the same use. At that point, it was 33,000 square feet, and it occupied this rectangle. We're now back, because of the structural and interior roof and all those fun things, we're now looking at this orientation with a main entrance off the corner, and it's 37,000 square feet. So it is 4,000 square feet larger, but essentially the exact same use. Very similar, same location, just modified inside. And then we're here with a site plan as well. So last time was a master plan. This time you can see where the stairs are, how we're getting in and out, so we'll do that at the end. That's project number one. Excuse me. Project number two is a banner to go on the corner of Rossi Mill. So that'll be a rotating banner, so whatever exhibits happen to be in there, or in Townsend, or somewhere else within the Seaport has the ability to put up a banner on the side of the building and announcing what's going on, in addition to the normal signage and stuff like that at the front door. Project number three is for temporary restrooms. This is a Stillman building. This is the Thompson building. This is the new hotel, which is about to start construction here next month or so. And while the hotel is under construction, if you'll recall, there are currently north heads there now. Those heads go into the building when it's completed, but during construction, we won't have any bathrooms on that end of the campus. So we're going to put temporary restrooms on the outside of Stillman. It's like a trailer. It's not just porta potties, but it's, elevated porta potties on a trailer hooked up to water and sewer. So that's project number three. Project number four is the membership patio improvement. So again, completely internal to the campus. That's the membership building. There's an existing patio back there that is bluestone is all broken up. It's very difficult to walk through. It's not ADA accessible. There is a covering over it that's kind of in need of repair. So significant upgrades to that patio and shelter. Project five is already built. That happens with some of these projects. We get an administrative approval from zoning, they're built, and then we have to document them in the master plan. But there was an existing stage right there, just a platform. We relocated it about 40 feet over. Turned it a little bit and put a roof on it so that they have the ability to put some lights in there for the small performances that take place on that green throughout the season. Project number six. This is a handicap ramp. That's all it is. As you know, the years we've been coming back and slowly adding handicap ramps to different buildings throughout the campus. We're adding one right there on the print shop, and then we're adding another one on the toy boats shed right there. So that's project 7. Project 8 is the youth team building area. So that's in this general area. If you can imagine, that's like a low ropes kind of thing. It's balance beam with some team building exercises. It's not high, it's not elevated or anything like that. It's only open to school groups when they come in. There's an activity that they can run through and things like that. It is interior, kind of behind all of the buildings, so you don't see it from 27. You don't see it when you're in the visitor experience within the campus. It's kind of tucked behind the buildings. Project number 9, I'm pretty excited about as well. Hope you are. We've been working with the town to try to find ways that we can help alleviate some of the traffic congestion on Route 27 between the Seaport and downtown. So project number 9 is a water taxi that will launch from this general area within the Seaport. This is the main entrance. This is the gift shop building. Obviously, that is the boatyard. So a water taxi will leave here and go down. We're still finalizing where it will land, most likely close to the bridge on the Stonington side, and then be able to shuttle people back and forth. That will be both for people that come and pay for admission to the Seaport, but then also they can park in the lot, pay, which is part of 14, and then come across the street and take the water taxi downtown without having to pay for admission to the Seaport as well. Project number 10, this is the Dutton restoration area. So if you saw the paper just about 2 weeks ago, it was lifted. Pretty exciting to watch. The boatyard or the shipyard is just going full tilt right now. There's a whole lot of restorations going on. And the main lift and the area next to it are full. And the Dutton's going to be there for a couple of years. And so they took down a couple of basically roofed wood storage areas. And we put down a pad and the Dutton was lifted and placed there for restoration for the next couple of years. Project 11 also complete. So this is the main entrance. And then the gift shop, we reconfigured the entry and exit of the main area. So the stairs, the handicap ramps, they were all in the neighborhood of about 30 years old. We reconfigured them, brought them up to code, and changed where you exit the campus and come through the gift shop now on the way out. Project 12 is picnic tables. Very simple, but basically the coffee shop there had some picnic tables out there during COVID. They got rid of the big ones and brought in some smaller ones. There were more smaller ones. Someone in the community was concerned that we were increasing seating. And so we have to just document how many seats were there previously and currently, so that we have that on the record going forward. So there's picnic tables. And then 13, this is kind of another exciting one. So this is the very southern end of the campus. This is a small sliver of land that the Seaport owns right now, and it's basically just an empty lot. It's kind of a grassy hill with some shrubs on it right on the corner of Isham, and it looks empty. What we're proposing to do is create a little pocket park there, kind of like Anchor Park down in the center of town. So it's kind of a small, iconic little place. It will, again, hopefully lead pedestrians. We're encouraging people to have park here and be able to walk downtown. It was another partnership with the town. And we could have some signage that gets you to a nice wayfinding point, and then pedestrians could then go down Isham and across Bay to downtown. We have had discussions with what those improvements could look like and some direction changes and parallel parking and things like that. We'd be happy to have further discussions with both this commission and the town on what those changes could be. But we don't think the Seaport's the one to lead that discussion since they don't own that property. But they are proposing to do what they can on their property to kind of help advance that cause, clean up that area and make it a nicer pedestrian connection as we go. And want to be partners with whatever that pedestrian connection wants to be as it goes forward. And then 14, as I alluded to, this is the south end of the south lot. If you were there this summer, we changed this area to paid parking for downtown with a shuttle. So visitors can come in on Route 27, pull in here, pay to park for the day, and take the shuttle, which drops you off down from the Release Bakery, and then cycles back again. Again, trying to be an active partner with the community and take some of that traffic off the road if it's possible, and utilize the parking that they have currently. So that's project 14. And then project 15 is very simple. It's just roof replacement on part of Rossi Mills. So we have been Rossi Mills is a very large building. They've been replacing pieces of the roof over time, and that's the next section to go. And with that, I think that's the quick run through of those projects and happy to answer questions.
As you know, 27 has been a very, 27 has really been a very busy, congested roadway. This commission has always had concerns about 27 and about additional pedestrian traffic across there. So my questions have to do with how are people going to go to the boat hall? Are they going to be able to pay? Is that going to be set like the Thompson building, or is it going to be just part of the main fee for the Seaport?
So it will be most likely both. You will be able to park in the north lot and enter and leave, and that's it. You can come and just experience just that. Or if you come in through the main lot, you could experience the whole Seaport. You could take the 2 crosswalks and leave that way as well. Or you can come through, walk through here, and come down the sidewalk to leave.
Also, there could be additional pedestrian traffic where the hotel is, where the hotel is going to be, and at that intersection. What do you estimate to be the possibility of additional pedestrian traffic going across 27 at that point? Do you have an estimate?
Actually, not all that significant. So we don't expect there to be a massive increase in overall visitorship to the Seaport just because of this project. And right now, we have quite a bit of the visitors currently using the north as a company and going as opposed to just the south. It obviously used to be primarily just the south lot with the addition of Thompson. It's probably fairly evenly split. And so anybody that's coming, obviously from the north lot, they have to cross the road once to come over, and they have to cross the road again to leave. And so there would be no increase for anybody doing that. There could be a potential increase this way. Again, I would say with the correct signalization of this intersection, and that's another topic we should talk about, because I think that's a bigger problem that's causing more problems than Seaport Board Development is a new management of that intersection.
I do agree with you, and I talked about that light, and they did definitely need to make some changes to that light. And the chief and I are talking about that, and talking about the state making some changes to that particular light. That's got to be done.
Yeah.
As far as the electric part, I did have a schematic at one time. I thought of that area, and there was some on the schematic I looked at, the plan that you had. It actually has some changes to parking on Issue Street.
Yep, we're not proposing any of that as part of this application.
It's just a
100% within the property bounds of the Seaport property. Again, YB Partners would love to figure out what those changes could be, but we're not.
We certainly hope that the shuttle didn't seem to get the attention it needed last year. I don't think it had the right publicity because it didn't get the writing we'd like to see.
Yeah.
But we did see people using that, and it wasn't, we had dedicated a shuttle stop for them right downtown, so that kind of worked. So we would like to see that be successful. Any other commissioners have any questions for us at all, or any on this particular?
I just would like to thank you, Chad and John and the whole team at the Seaport for all of your great work. It's such an important asset to the community, and I really appreciate how creative you're being to try and be a good partner in relieving the traffic problems. So thank you.
Okay. Well, thank you. See you again. That's our comments.
That's your comments?
Can I jump in with one, Chad? In the Rossi building there, that will then become like a public space and exhibition space for people to come and go.
Yes. So if you recall, before Thompson was built, there was a boat hall, exhibit space down here. It wasn't obviously built for boat halls at all, and it was too small of a roof, and it was very difficult to get things in and out of, which is why that building went away. So there is a $2 million tax in the Seaport houses. A lot of them are very large, and so we want to be able to have a special person here and display. Someone rotating, I don't know, the exhibits.
Let me just say that I'm going to let Chief give some comments. I didn't want to miss you. Go ahead.
Just the mere fact that 27, as we discussed before, going from 95 all the way down is a lot of different projects going on all over, and that we really have to, and I stress that we as the community itself has to look at the fact that any development that's going on is that all of it touches each other. And they're looking at doing changes in the lighting system at 27 and 95 for the state in 2026. And there's other developments going on down the road, everything off 95. When you look at going to all the signage to come up onto 27. You have the village that was here earlier, and they have the events that are going on there. You have the large hotels that are on the other side. It's very congested. People coming along, pulling back onto the highway. So those are the concerns I have when we talk about light changes and everything. It's not just for intersections. For
the bigger picture.
You got to look at the bigger picture.
I agree. And what I did, based on our conversation the other night, we went back and looked at the historical data for the Seaport. Right, so this is the actual yearly attendance for the Seaport, and if you look at it, it's going in the wrong direction, right? But in 2000, they had 418,000 visitors, right? And for the last 22 years, attendance has been declining until last year we were at 225,000, right? So almost half the visitors are coming to the Seaport that were there 22 years ago. And it's kind of hopefully flatlined. Obviously, you can see COVID. But interestingly enough, this is in July 2013. This is when the Morgan launched, right? And you remember what a huge event that was in Mystic, and people came, and it was a big, it was a flatline effectively from overall visitors, And then in Thompson, when we opened Thompson up, this was October of 2016. So again, there was a little bit of a blip between 15 and 17, but Thompson opened in October, so it wouldn't have really affected October that year's numbers, and it came back down again. So we're critically working to try to get those numbers back up again. But what I would say after having that discussion, I said, the traffic increase on Route 27 isn't probably the Seaport's fault at this point, right? It's precipitously dropping we need to do something to help get that back up again and not make it worse for everybody else. And then I went, based on our conversation, went this morning and looked at the DOT's historical average daily traffic for Route 27 and found out that if you forget 2020, because that was definitely an anomaly, the last data was published in 21. It's the lowest ADT in the last 15 years. And so in 2008, there was and there's two segments of area where they do the average daily traffic on the north and the south. So I'm just going to average them out. But basically, it's 11,000 cars a day in 2008. There's 13,000 in 2011 and 2017. 20 was way down, and then 21 it was down to basically 10,800 as the ADT. So less than it's been since 2008. But yet perception is traffic is worse.
Yeah. When you take large events and you have large events,
That doesn't count in
it
here.
doesn't count in there. And then what happens is if you take all these different projects, you have just a little bit that's a constant. So when you don't have an issue, you have all these little events, all these little places all over the place, you then increase your traffic a little bit with it. But then when those big events happen, it's much bigger of an impact.
So,
And we've already just, if I can add to that, we've already seen it. We've already seen it with the village having large events, or we have a large, everything happens, it all backs up and we have issues. I'm saying that not on a daily basis when we have large events that we should have. And this is what this town is, and we're very appreciative of it, and I enjoy them. But as a police department, to be able to man those events when they come up, and we have 50 a year, we have to be able to manage them. When it gets to a point where everything is it's beautiful down there, everyone wants to come down there. When you take that daily average, you rise that just a little bit, and then you have any of these events, it becomes a huge impact on the department. And that's where it comes in.
I totally agree, right? So to me, when I look at if attendance is down and overall traffic is down, and it's not peak, because the average daily is down, but yet it feels like traffic is worse and congestion is worse. To me, what that indicates is we have a management problem effectively running. Right? And this intersection, 100%, as we talked about, it's both that arrow so there's the left-hand turn arrow in is very confusing and difficult, but also the triggers on everything on Rossi Pentway for both pedestrian and vehicular are extremely sensitive. So like, as a pedestrian, if you hit that button, which I do quite often as I'm going back and forth reading, you're now get stopped 10 times more. And so really,
everything way up, all the way
everything all the way both ways, right? Because it's blocking it coming
If
this
that
way.
becomes an issue, we're called and we have to then mitigate that during that time. It's a concept, us going back and telling them.
What I would love to do is say, we would love to work with you to go to DOT and help them come up with a better timing solution for that light. And see if that helps to alleviate problems.
We have been talking to DOT, and I think we have
A meeting coming up.
a meeting coming up with them, we'll be addressing it.
And that is saying the point that anything that we're doing, we have to look at that big picture through all of 27. Right?
And maybe even, to me, a lot of it is management, right? So management of how they control their signals, but then allowing you to have some control of those signals too during big event times and things like that to really let flow happen.
Well, it's tough with that. It's very difficult because it affects all the different areas. And you're doing all the proper studies, what's going on, to have patrol officers go there and try to do that. You could do that at a single point, but when you're doing that, it's affecting the whole line. That's not a time for us to be.
No, I think that's a discussion that needs to be had.
We can do that now.
Yeah, DOT has not, in my opinion, has not paid homage to this area like they should. Right, this is one of the largest, Mystic is the largest tourist generator in our region for sure, and most of Connecticut. And here you've got, the world's best heritage, coastal museum. And all the parking's on one side, the museum's on the other side. And their crosswalks are just like the crosswalk in front of CVS. Right, they haven't done anything special to really help with that whole process. And so we love to have that conversation with the town and the partner and you guys specifically on how we can improve all those situations. Not part of this project, but No, we are, I will, as I mentioned, tonight, we are working on kind of planimetric changes that we would like to see for that intersection, and we definitely,
We'd love to
before we
be
get
involved
to,
in
really presenting them and submitting them, we'd love to work with you on that.
Any other questions?
When is the meeting with you?
We have it coming up, next Thursday, I believe it is. It's what it is, it's just the representative from DOT talking about some proposed projects that can go on there with some of the commercial entities down there. So the chairman will be down there, I'll be down there, just finding out what they're proposing or talking about. Just hey, it's an informal, just to talk about it. The other thing is that they're already in the works of changing the lights down there that's coming up in 26. And, all this has to be put into, in the forefront of saying, hey, listen, if you're going to make all these changes here and understand all these other issues that are going on. So it's a larger discussion.
Happy to be part of it. Thank you. Thank you.
Okay, new business next is, Mira. Everybody here from the Mira meeting, the new, upgrade to the, retail convenience store. Someone tell us your name and
Hi, Susan Marquardt, professional engineer from Railroad Engineering. So currently at the site, there is Best Way convenience store and about 3 or 4 residential lots. All of those together as one lot will be a new retail store with a drive-through, and then a convenience store with a drive-through and a retail building. And just to give you a little background history to this project, it was issued a special permit and a site plan application back in like 2006. The special permit goes with the land, so that is still valid, but they let their site plan application lapse. So now you have to come forward with what was approved, but that meets current zoning regulations. So that is what the application is for. Basically, it's just almost a renewal of the application that we previously had, but that meets current zoning regulations, stormwater regulations, DOT requirements for sightline. We have new traffic report.
so that's becoming the traffic report, you don't have that yet?
Yes, I sent a traffic report to Natalie, last week. She gave everyone a copy of that, but she had asked for that, so I sent it to her.
I didn't see that. My only concern is, I've been there a couple times, I thought that the sightline looking, south, from that location wasn't very good. And that they needed to do some cleanup there. Have you looked at that, the sightline on the south of the property?
Yes, we do have, sightline demonstrations that we have prepared.
Yeah, this sightline.
This one is going to be on this sheet.
Okay. And I thought that this sightline,
And so this is a right turn only.
turn on the, yeah, no left turn, right? Because that's terrible, the clusters, that's my next question.
Okay.
But, the sightline, I think that we cleaned out some of this areas on the corner and maybe improved that, the sightline, I don't know if you got out there, well. But that's the only question I had about that, was the sightline. You need a commissioner's,
I have a question about the volume. It's the best way right now.
It is the best way right now.
And you're going to expand it and take out 3 or 4 residences.
That's what.
So do you think the volume of traffic would be relative to what is today?
Yeah, I'm sorry, I wasn't on. So he has additional 24 trips per day during peak time. And basically, the traffic engineer was saying that it's a level of service C, and with the additional 24 cars, that it will change the level of service that it currently is.
So just an additional 24 cars per day
Right during peak time.
during peak time. And then you alluded to, is there a no left turn?
So there's one main entrance and exit
Okay.
that is right and left turn, but then there is one,
The south exit should be right turn only.
that will be right turn only.
And what about the cars traveling north, trying to take a left turn into the store? They would be blocking the left travel lane. Are you guys, is there a concern about that?
I mean, yeah, if they're trying to come into the site from across the street, right, they would just have to wait right until traffic cleared across the street and turn in. I think most of your traffic, because I think there's a Dunkin' Donuts across the street on that side, so I don't know what's gonna go in here. I mean, it doesn't have any leases or deals with anyone, but if you think of a driver, you think, I'm just thinking Dunkin' Donuts. If there's already one on the other side, then maybe a lot of your traffic will be ones who are getting off from 95 and headed, you know,
Right. It's just one
to
of
the beach or
right
whatever.
here.
Right.
Beach persistence is gonna go on the right. Right. But if it's something different, then we may have, it's just the left turn that's concerned me.
I see.
I drive that road a lot.
Yeah.
I don't think there's a particular traffic problem on that road, is there, Chief?
Traffic problems is it gets extremely busy. The businesses are there. It's just the businesses are there right now. It's just not impactful. It's a little bit coming in and out. I'm trying to get across our lanes over there with, it's difficult, you know.
Right.
But it is everywhere in the United States that you have that same setup.
Yeah, it's not a
You
signalized.
should, I always take it, when it gets busy like that, I take my right out, I don't take the left.
What's your time frame on this development?
In regards to,
When are you going to start it, and how long before the zoning gets your permission, the permits you need?
right now, we are going before the Planning and Zoning Commission, next week, and probably go into next month to get approvals. But there's not a construction start date or anything like that.
Do you have an actual traffic study they did on the site?
Yes,
Did you email it to her?
We never got,
I did.
I'd like to be able to review the traffic study.
Yeah, it's my secretary, my apologies. It's in our packet, and I got that.
So,
Yeah, I emailed it, and then she said, do you want to make sure to be on this agenda? And I said, yes, but,
When did you email? Do you remember? 2 days ago.
I think it was the beginning of last week.
All right. Again, my apologies. I have to check with mine. I've got no
It
pads.
happens.
So the only thing I'd be concerned about is, so Chair, I'd be a little concerned because you're here today because you need something from the police commission to go before planning and zoning, correct?
Yes, but it will go another month, so if we need to come back again, then we can do that.
my recommendation is that we table this till next month, Commissioner Bates, what do you think?
I just don't, I would feel badly because it didn't come through to us for creating a holdup. So I wonder if we could do something provisional.
Well, she doesn't need it till next month, we find you with your information.
Yes, we just put that architectural design, we will look at it back.
Again, I apologize.
And it might come to you, I don't know when your packets go out, so that might have been.
Make sure it's not the additional that you need.
Well, we can get it.
Yeah.
Solve that.
Yeah, but it's not a holdup, then,
Okay, so I'll make sure you get the.
We may have it, and we'll make get that available. So, so we're going to table this till next month, and then we'll be able to review the traffic survey and give you an answer. Thank you. And there's something I'll need to put this on the agenda, which for some reason wasn't put on the agenda. I need a motion to put South End Realty LLC, special use permit for 4-week permit for on-site consumption in the existing restaurant. And I make a motion to put the add that to the agenda. So, all in favor?
Second. Second, yes,
Okay, is there anybody here from South Bend? South Broad, I'm sorry, South Broad.
Yeah, great. Hi, good evening, I'm Megan. I'm actually going to be the owner. It's going to be a breakfast and lunch restaurant. It's already in a current restaurant already. It's the Thai food place up here on the right-hand side. So we're going to be converting it into a breakfast and lunch restaurant. We closed probably about 3 days ago. We're still like in the early stages. Currently, we're kind of shooting to open in April. But mainly the reason that I'm here is I'm asking for a full liquor license. This is not a bar room. Nobody will be lingering. There's no TVs in there. There's no reasons for people to stay and want to drink excessively. And also just the main reason to have the liquor license, I think, is just for future endeavors. I would like to host small events like baby showers, bridal showers, Mother's Day brunches. And I just think that gives us more of an advantage, especially in the industry today. I feel like that brunch is a huge thing right now. And so I think that would bring a lot of extra revenue to the business so that we could just stay here as long as possible for longevity and serve the community of Stonington.
So, you're not increasing the seating capacity. What's the seating capacity?
The seating currently is 24 seats, and we're not looking to change that.
How's your parking at that location?
Parking, I'm pretty sure there is 11 spots currently. I know that in the future, the people who sold us the business, they had their own business previous, I think, years ago. They sold like hot dogs and hamburgers. They said they had a really good relationship with the post office that is right next door. And they said that when the post office is closed, that people could park there on the weekends and walk over. And I know that it's kind of a safe area. There is a sidewalk there.
Commissioners have any questions? Do you currently have a liquor license?
No, and there's never been one there. So this is my first. Yeah, this will be the first liquor license application for that place.
Okay. Any other? Okay. So a motion to pass along to planning and zoning that the police commission sees no issues with this application as it relates to traffic, safety, and parking. So, second. Second.
Thank you very much. Have a great day. Thank you. I appreciate it. Thank you.
Okay. All right, I think that concludes, there's no correspondence, all this is under traffic, Susan on there?
Yes, right. Excuse me. Yes, my name is Tom. My daughter owns Bogues Alley. She'd be here, but she's already put a 14-hour day in. So there is parking there. And with this wind project going on the end of Cogswell Street, I know there's going to be, we all know there's going to be an increase in traffic. There's no problems there now. Our customers, for all the four businesses, park on Cogswell Street. You know, and as some people who go to Betsy park on Cogswell Street, there's no problems. But I just don't want to see any problems down the road. If you understand, we get all our supplies come in, the people who players, they park on Cogswell Street, unload their stuff, going into the deli or the Mears or anybody else there. So I just don't want to see any of that parking on Cogswell Street taken away from us, because that is a big part of our business there. My daughter's deli is, if anybody's been in there, it's a grab and go joint. You know, you grab your stuff. There is 6 chairs, but really we have nobody in there more than 20 minutes at the most. So I just want to see that, you know, I don't want to, it sounds like I'm putting the cart before the horse, but I just don't want to, you know, as we go into the future, I don't want to see anything happen, because this would affect our business and anybody else in that area over there. Because as you know, it is kind of tight down there. We have parking across the street and everything else, and there's parking in front of the deli, but there's a beauty salon there, or what do they call them now? I don't know. I call them beauty salons. I'm old, okay? And so I don't want to see any more problems. Everything is pretty good down there now. There's a lot of traffic, but as that project goes on down the window, I don't wanna see anything taken away from us. That's all. That's my only concern.
We appreciate you coming in, and the commission has had no, plans to change any of that at the present time. The slots down there on on your side, there are 15-minute slots initially, there's 3 of those.
There's one.
There's one for 15 minutes.
And the other
Problem,
3 hours.
there is a problem there that we're gonna address though, is that the 15 minutes is on the other side of the sign. Otherwise, when you cut the tape left, there's a sign there that says 15 minutes on that direction. On this direction, there's no parking. You're not allowed to park within 25 feet of an intersection. That's by statute. So, that's not part of the 15-minute zone. And I've been out there twice already, looked to see how many people are parking there. It seems like people are parking on that side of the sign. So my only suggestion is that right now, the only thing we do is mark what is, from the sign to the corner, yellow. I don't see us changing anything else there right now.
Most people will park there, just come in and get something to go. Or my daughter will park her car there, because we do a lot of deliveries, the Davis stand in different places. So we're catering stuff, so we have to, park there. It's easier. I'm 73 years old. I don't want to walk all the way down the end of Cogswell Street to load up our car. These ladies that can't do that no more.
It is marked, it is that they're not supposed to be parking there. And that's a safety concern for people making a turn onto that intersection. That's why they don't allow people to park within 25 feet of an intersection.
Okay, well, I don't know, because my daughter bought that deli 8 years ago after the streetscape thing came about.
Oh, yeah.
And there's been parking, and that was kind of put in for the people at the deli, the previous owners of the deli, I believe, but they get this load and go. And that's all I know about it. I'm not gonna argue.
No,
That's all I know.
We're not intending to change any parking that's there presently.
Yeah, I understand.
So, I mean, I'm not saying that won't happen in the future, but we don't have any plans to do anything like that, so I don't know. Commissioners have any comments?
No, that was my only concern, is the project went on and it's built and there's cars and there's gonna be an increase in traffic. I just don't wanna see that parking taken away from here, because.
We're not gonna change any of the legal parking.
Thank you very much for your time. Enjoy your evening. See you later. I gave Cal that message. He says he doesn't know anything.
Take care.
Very much. Next thing on the menu is a request for dead end or no outlet sign corner of Richmond Lane and Hatch. Is there anyone here to talk about that? Do you have any questions about that? Any of the commissioners, any questions about that? I don't have any problem with that. I've been down there, took a look at that. It's just something that's,
It makes sense.
yep. So can I have a motion to, ask the highway department, to place a, no outlet, that is, no outlet sign at the corner of Richmond Lane and Hatch Street. So, second.
Second.
In favor? Okay, the next thing on the thing is we've applied, the police department, through the chief, has applied to the state, to put, crosswalk signs in the roads and some other locations, not only, in Pawcatuck, but also along 27. And I'll let the chief, explain the reason behind that. There's some action that has to be taken by the Board of Police Commissioners, but Chief, you want to go over the concept and what the permit allows?
Sure, when we get concerns or complaints when it comes to the crosswalks and people not paying attention to the crosswalks. So our main concentration has been in downtown Pawcatuck, as you've heard, and we get a lot of complaints at police department on 27. Just the fact that when it's congested, it's one thing. When it's not congested, people increase in speeds, they can't see people in the crosswalks, and it becomes an issue. So what we wanted to do, when you put a sign in the middle of the crosswalk, I'm sure you've all seen them before, short and slender, weighted, right on the double yellow lines, to let people know coming down there's a crosswalk. We have to apply for an application with the state DOT to have one placed there, and they have to sit out of state road. We want to stay with Route 27 state road. What we wanted to do was get all the information together where we might need them in town, based on complaints, based on information we've had before, and what the deputy the chief puts out his speed signs where he is when we're evaluating everything. So we came up with, you have 2 in downtown Pawcatuck on the Route 1 area. Then we have West Broad Street by the school, which is New State Michael School. Then we also have the church on the weekends up on Route 2. We're there, so we have those signs will be going out there. Route 27 will be Pleasant Street, Hinckley, and Rossi, because we have, obviously, for the people that are crossing over there, that's becoming more of an issue through the years. So we were granting permits for them. We'll be purchasing the signs. We've already worked with the town highway department to do the first selectmen to have them put them out and take them out. The DOT actually requires that.
So the permit says that the will be installed on a daily basis and placed during daylight hours. In additional time shall be at the discretion of the legal traffic authority, which is us, the town of Stonington. So even though permit says that, we have the option to change that a little bit. So the chief and I talked about this, and as a test period, I think the best thing to do is have the town put them out. We'll try at this time of year from Friday to Monday, and see what happens. Maybe the problems we may have accidents out there. These signs are designed to they're on a spring like and they fall over when they get hit. But who knows what will happen in the middle of the night with those signs, if they will stay there or disappear. So I think that we can make a vote to change the hours and give the chief the opportunity to put those out in conjunction, and the police department will do it, in conjunction with the highway department to put these signs out. Any discussion from the commissioners? Are those signs reflective?
Yeah, they're approved by DOT, and we get them from a supplier that supplies DOT. And I've sent the actual dimensions of the signs, the makeup of the signs, everything with the application, so they know exactly what it is. The only thing they ask for in the permit is that during snow removal, and so what will happen with something like that is that we'll just coordinate with the town, and something's going to come up. But it seems to be a hazard. We can always have officers just going for that.
Are they expensive?
I haven't priced them yet.
Just wondering if they disappear in the middle of the night.
Yeah, and they could, you have that risk of that happening.
Sure.
The only issue that we have is that, the permit wants the town to move them back and forth and to store them, and it's really more appropriate for them to do that, but they're not working on the weekends, we can't pay them. And I don't want to have them not out there during the weekends, because that's our biggest time. I think that test period with it, and it becomes our problem, law enforcement, to make sure.
Is there an opportunity to build a partnership with the Seaport, move them in and out, or the state doesn't want that?
State doesn't allow it.
What they did in the past is they had some of the local businesses downtown. We had one downtown in the past, had a local business bring that out, we're in violation of it. I wonder though, when we meet with them, that maybe we can ask if there's anything we can do with them.
Yeah, good idea. Any other questions? Do I have a motion to give the chief the authority to place the signs out when he feels it appropriate in conjunction with the Stonington Highway Department? Motion? Yes, so. Second?
Second.
All in favor?
So yes, it's thank you.
A motion to accept the minutes of the December 8th, 2022 regular meeting. Any changes with that from the board? Can I have a motion to accept it as submitted in your package?
There's one minor change I think.
Which one?
Yep, it's on page 2. It's in the, under E letter, the wellness fun run walk and stroll. The second sentence, it says the event instead of the event, so I'm going to change that.
Okay. A motion accepted with the change provided by the recording secretary. Second.
Second.
All in favor? Just so you know that last month we had Jessica Mancarella come in, and the chief's going to talk about that later. You're going to talk about that, right? About sending her a letter on the hill.
Yes.
Okay. Report of the chief.
The first thing on the record, I'd like to point out that Natalie did not make a mistake. That it was too much. The traffic study was too much to make copies of everything. So it's here to be reviewed, go over, and we can do that.
Let me go back to traffic a minute, because, I did miss one thing, because, the commissioners have, the new, traffic ordinance, Danielle has asked us to approve this, so she can move ahead with this. You have copies on your desk. This is the parking and traffic regulations. The chief has asked for a couple of changes, and Danielle needs a change, an addition rather. And the first part of this is regarding to the use of public streets and right of ways. We're going to change in this ordinance, and you'll see that in the first part of that. And what it does is it gives us the officers the ability to regulate vehicles that are in the right of way, which we did not have before. So this is going to give the officers on patrol the ability to tow vehicles that are in the right of way that are providing a hazard. So that's the first change, and you'll see that at the top. And that's the right of way under C, D, or the E there. The next thing on there, the third page, Chair, in front of you, is parking meters. The parking committee has been meeting on a regular basis over the last 2 years to come up with a plan to put paid parking downtown in the city. And one of the things that we need to have in the parking in the ordinance is the ability of the Board of Police Commissioners, which is the traffic authority of the town, to regulate and control those parking meters, to set up fines, to set up fees. And so this has got to go before a town meeting, which is going to be in February. So you have a copy of that. And the third thing that's in there is on the last page at the top, under the penalties. The present penalty for illegal parking in town is $25. I'm going to increase that to $50. So I need a motion to approve the changes to the parking and traffic regulations as passed out to you today. Unless there's any questions.
I just have one question, Chair. So it says here that the Board of Police Commissioners shall be authorized to receive funds for collection of revenues and fines and parking.
We do that now.
Do we?
Through the police department for parking. And it's